here's a great question. I love asking pastors, priests, rabbis, and anyone who thinks about religion. What's the greatest sin in your religion? It's a fascinating question, and I've gotten any number of answers. And I know from my religion, you could wake up a traditional rabbi at 3 a.m. and say, "Rabbi, what's the greatest sin in Judaism?" And he'll give you the same answer. And that is doing evil in God's name. That's the greatest sin according to Judaism because, and by the way, that is what do not take God's name in vain really is. I know from the Hebrew, and I know Torah Hebrew like I know English. The Torah Hebrew is mistranslated when it says, "Do not take the Lord's name in vain." And I'll prove it to you and just end with that because it's so important. I'm on a crusade, if you will, to give the correct, what I believe is the correct explanation of that commandment. Because it says, to prove to you that it can't mean, and this is the way most people understand it. If I say, "Oh my God, did you see that home run?" then a lot of religious people will say, "You know, you took God's name in vain, you violated the commandment." But it's not true. First of all, God is not God's name, but even aside from that. No, that's not insignificant. And I tell this to my Orthodox Jewish friends who spell God G-D, and I go, "Why are you doing that? God isn't God's name." But okay, be that as it may, here is the proof that it can't be that. It is the only sin in the Ten Commandments that God says he will not forgive. He's going to forgive murder, theft, adultery, lying in court. He'll forgive, but not saying, "Oh my God, what a home run." This is a very, very silly God, in my opinion, and I am convinced God is not silly. That's one of my basic beliefs. In fact, I know, but I already have a title for a book I never wrote, but which would really annoy a lot of religious people. It would be titled, "God Has Common Sense." Because religious people often portray him as not having common sense, and in my opinion, that's one of them. God will forgive everything except saying, "Oh my God, what a great piano recital. You took his name in vain." So it can't be that. It can't possibly be that. So what is the Hebrew? The Hebrew is "Lo tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashad." It's not take. The Hebrew, and ask anyone who knows Hebrew, is do not carry God's name in vain. Big difference. Totally different. It's been mistranslated. Do not carry God's name in vain is one who murders in the name of God, steals in the name of God, molests children in the name of God. These are the scum of the earth, the worst people on earth. If an atheist commits torture and a religious person commits torture, it's actually worse if a person tortures in the name of God than if an atheist tortures. Because the atheist has done pure evil, but has not ruined the possibility of people taking God seriously. Whereas the person the Islamist who murders in the name of God, I'm telling you, there is a direct relationship between all the murder in God's name taking place in our time and the ascent of atheism. There is no question in my mind that they are related. Because nobody does the case for atheism like the person who does evil in God's name. And nobody makes the case for God as beautifully as the one who does beautiful things in God's name.